So it's happened. Um, the house closing went through, and everything was actually very painless then. I was able to take care of the financial obligations that I had that were holding back my passport renewal, but I still don't have my passport. And today is October 14th. Um, and so I'll tell you something about governmental agencies. So, what they told me when I first called them, which was obviously the day after I took care of everything, was that to call them within when I was 2 weeks away from my flight, because I have my flight purchased now. I'm leaving on December 27th. So, and I called them like four times, and they're just like, call back on December 13th. And I'm like, okay. So I called back on December 13th, and the guy's like, okay, call back on the 19th. And I'm like, what do you mean? And he's like, well, because you've already put in for your renewal. The 2 week thing is for people that haven't even put in for a renewal yet. So the challenges that I'm running into are so my whole plan had been I was going to just rent an SUV, as soon as I cleared up everything else, and then drive that around, and then do a one way from here to San Francisco, which is where my flight is. And on the way there, I would stop by and visit my stepson, and bring a bunch of stuff that I have here, like gaming computers and monitors and stuff like that, and spend Christmas with him. And that was my plan. Well, my dumbass, I made the reservation for my rental car, no problems. And yes, it's expensive, but it's what I got to do. And I called them up before I went to go pick up the car, and they're like, well, you need to have a major credit card because it's a one-way rental. And I'm like, I mean, what if I pay cash? Or because I'm going to get the insurance and all the add-ons, just because I don't even have car insurance now because I sold my car. Well, you can't rent a one-way rental with a debit card. And I got rid of all my credit cards because I personally think they're the devil. So I can't rent a car. I've reached out to a few different friends, and either they're not in a financial spot where they can use their credit card to do it, or they're just not comfortable with it. Which I get. I don't blame people for feeling that way. And that's really kind of the messed up thing. The truth of the matter is I could walk out today and buy a brand new car with cash, but I can't rent a car. So what's ended up happening was my buddy Steve, the one that helped me with the garage sale and the one whose family I've cooked dinner for a couple times, at one point he had mentioned to me that this was, a while ago, when he knew that I was driving up there with an SUV. He's like, well, how about if I just follow you and make sure you get there safe? So I ended up reaching out to Steve, and I'm like, so is the offer still on the table to go out to California? And he said that he would definitely talk to his wife and consider it and blah, blah, blah. And they're okay with it. But the challenge is he needs to be back here by the 23rd for a doctor's appointment for that carpal tunnel syndrome surgery that he had. And of course, he wants to be here for Christmas, which I get completely. So we originally had planned on leaving on like the 18th so that we could drive out to California. He could spend a day sleeping. We're just going to drive straight. It's two adult men. No reason we shouldn't be able to do a 17-hour drive. And then let him sleep for a day, and then he can drive back. And it would be a little tight, but, works out fine. Well, then I find out this thing from the passport office that they want me to call them back on the 19th. And it's like, and I'm like, well, can I do this from any of the other offices? And they're like, well, yeah, that's why they'll ask you what zip code you're in when when you talk to them and they schedule an office visit for you. Well, the nearest one here is in El Paso, which is only 50 miles away, which is what I had planned on doing in the first place. But apparently the 2 weeks thing only, if I hadn't filed, apparently I could already be getting my passport. I don't know. It doesn't make any sense to me at all. But since I have to wait until a week before my flight. if I don't get my passport between now and then. Now, understand, I have already also forwarded all of my address stuff already because I have to because I'm leaving. And so and so I need to be in a place that I can get to an office on the 19th. And so I'm like, screw it. Let's just leave earlier. We'll leave on the 17th so that I don't have any issues with Steve getting back in time to do what he has to do. And I reached out to my stepson and ex-wife and just kind of asked, well, would you guys mind just giving me a ride to San Francisco then for the day of my flight? And because they live about 2 hours east of there. Well, my stepson has anxiety, and he's never driven more than an hour and a half, and never in the city, because they live out in the boonies. So he's super nervous about it. I'm like, well, talk to your mom. And he did, and she has no interest in helping, which, I mean, is what it is. Because her and I were actually, didn't have any bad blood as far as I knew, but apparently she does not feel the need to help in this situation. So he's like, well, can't you just fly out of Sacramento? Because apparently Sacramento's about a half an hour closer, and he's driven there before, and he is okay doing that. So, like I say, my flight to San Francisco, or out of San Francisco, is already booked. So what I did is I ended up booking another flight out of Sacramento the morning that I'm supposed to be leaving for the Philippines to get to San Francisco 2 hours before my flight there is supposed to leave. So, another airplane ticket. Well, the problem with that is that also means that we have to leave at like 2 o'clock in the morning to get to the airport in time, to get on the flight, to get to the flight in San Francisco. So my decision now has been, so Steve and I are going to leave on the 17th. He's going to rent a car, put both of us on as drivers. We're going to drive all the way up to where my stepson lives. After we get there, I'm going to have my stepson drive me to Sacramento Airport. Then I'm going to get a rental car, so another expense, so that I can go back and forth to San Francisco because that's the office that I'm going to have to go to get my passport. Yeah, I mean, just a total fucking clusterfuck. And by the way, this video is probably not going to be for anyone under 18 years old. So, that's all said and done. I mean, at least that's all planned. I have rooms and reservations and car rentals and everything's already out there. Well, then, my friends that have the doggy daycare thing, because my son can't take the dog, he has nowhere to take him. And so my friends that have run the doggy daycare thing have been like, well, bring him here, we'll get him used to it, and worst case scenario, we can hang on to him until somebody adopts him or whatever. Or at least that's how I understood it. And so yesterday, yesterday I had dinner with Steve and his family to finalize that, yes, this is okay that we leave on the 17th, and yes, we'll put the rental car on our credit card and you can just pay us back. And I had dinner with them last night to confirm that. Well, yesterday during the day, Casper had been over at the doggy daycare, so I went and picked him up at 4. And the husband was there, and he came out and talked to me, and I ran him through this whole rigmarole of everything and how I'm leaving on Wednesday. And he's like, oh, well then why don't you leave him for overnight tomorrow? So that's what Casper's doing today. But then I get a call from his wife today that's like, well, I thought you had till the middle of January, which I have never said. Now, where the middle of January came from was the fact that when I sold my house, I had made arrangements with the new buyer that I could stay here as late as the middle of January for my passport stuff. And so she kind of tried to give me a moral thing about my dogs, and she canceled my trip until my dog's taken care of. And so, I mean, I have 1,000 other things that I have to finish between now and Wednesday. I mean, it's just crazy. So I'm, all that stress and stuff that I'm trying to remove, it is like right here now. and I'm not liking it at all. And there is one thing that I know: I will be on a plane to the Philippines on the 27th of December. Whatever the hell is going to happen between now and then, I right now have no real clue as to what's going to happen. What's going to happen to my dog? I don't know. And it breaks my heart because I love that dog. And I've been trying to get him a new house, but my stepson can't keep him. The other people that had him, too much hair. And, I've had other people that were, oh, yeah, I want the dog, and then never show up or call. And so it's like everybody else that I've tried to depend on with this has just failed me. But yet, it's still my fault. I know that. So, that is where we're at. And actually, I have the new owner of this house, coming by with her mother tonight. I'm making them dinner and trying to get them up to speed because the smart stuff I have in the house, which really isn't even going to matter because I have to return the fiber gateway, and as soon as you change the network, everything else is going to have to be reconnected anyway. So, which also too, that whole T-Mobile fiber thing, I tried to set up a end date for that for the 17th. And I called them. Well, no. You can call the day of if you want. I guess if I didn't want service for the next few days, I could cancel it. And maybe I will do that like the day before. But because you have to ship the thing to them, and then they'll give you a box for it. And I'm like, okay, how am I supposed to print? Because I'm not going to have a printer or anything anymore. Like I said, and I still got to call the donation place to get rid of the stuff that the new owner doesn't want. It's just a total cluster right now. And God give me strength. I've gotten this far. I will get through it. I know I will get through it, but it doesn't make it any less frustrating. Good news is, I've got a few of my guides set up already on the other side. My buddy Ray is ecstatic. He's going to meet me at the airport. Bad news, I've already had a couple more scammers hit me up. And I've learned my lesson with that whole thing. One of them, ironically, we've been chatting for quite a while. I get a random message on WhatsApp from a number I don't know. I don't know who it is. And they're like, well, I've got information for you about your girlfriend. And I'm like, I don't have a girlfriend. I'm like, this ought to be interesting. So I'm like, okay, what do you got to say? And they knew the girl's name. And apparently she is married and wanting to use any money that I give her for her husband. And so I'm like, okay. So I reach out to her. And, long story short, it all is what it is. And, I'm learning my lessons already, and I'm not even there. So I'm hoping that means that I won't have to learn as many once I get there. But it's been a rough couple days. I thought that this part would be the coasting easy part, but I've got my mail stuff all taken care of at this point, but now I'm realizing that I'm probably going to have to call the passport office so that they don't mail my passport to me because it isn't going to come to me. So I need to let them know that. But yeah, so, I'm not sure when the next update's going to happen. I do know Steve and I will definitely be doing some filming while we're driving to California, which should be interesting. But until that happens, this is a day in my life right now. And, the truth of the matter is this, though. Everybody dies, but how many of us actually live? So that's what I'm trying to get to. I want to live my life. And it'll happen. It's going to happen. It's coming. I'm so much closer now than I was 3 months ago when I started this whole thing. So it's going to happen. Just do the next right thing right in front of you. And that's what I'm going to do. So you guys have a wonderful day, and we'll chat soon.